First off, I want to say thank you to Thiemen the Viking for making that little intro. I have to give a shout out to him first before I can start this video. That was the shout out. Thanks for making me look less shitty on YouTube, Thiemen. Now let's start the video. Hi. Want to go for a walk? Let's go. So, Native American stories that foretell the rise of paganism in Europe, America, and all over the world. I know two, not one, two. And I think it's important to share these with you, because then you know that the pagan community and this trend, that's going on in Europe and America to become pagan, why it matters and what it means to the rest of the world. Why it's important to start honoring Midgard again. Two big stories. One is a very well-known prophecy. It's the story of White Buffalo Calf Woman. I'll summarize as best as I can. But the story goes, once upon a time, and nobody knows how old this story is, by the way. Once upon a time, people were hungry. Two hunters went out to kill some buffalo for meat. Couldn't find any. So they climb on this hill to look. And they only see one buffalo, but it's a white buffalo. So one guy says, "Yo, we're hungry, you should kill it." The other guy says, "I don't know, man, this is a white buffalo. It looks kind of strange. It looks wakan, looks sacred." So they move towards the buffalo, and the buffalo starts transforming in this beautiful, beautiful white woman. This white buffalo became a beautiful white woman. And the white woman says, come to me. And she says, there are two people here, and one of them has very pure thought. The other one is looking at me saying, "Oh, that's a beautiful woman. You know, it's not pure thought. Can the one with the not pure thought come forward, please?" So the one Lakota Indian comes forward and he says, "Yeah, it's me." So a big cloud comes. He just vanishes. White Buffalo Calf Woman leaves nothing but his bones. They're gone. So she says, "Listen, I'm very sacred, and I'm going to bring you something that's sacred. Prepare the medicine poles. Prepare the medicine teepee. I come back tomorrow. I teach you." So, next morning, she comes back. And she gave the Lakota people the sacred pipe. I'm moving in a part of the forest where it's like not clear paths. So I'm like ducking ducking the branches. I'll just stay here for a while. So she gave them a sacred pipe, the Chanupa, and they tell them these sacred ways. And they tell them, this is how you live in a good way on the earth. Here's the interesting part. At the end, she says, you are lucky, because you will be the people who can hang on to these teachings for the longest. And you must hang on to them the longest. You must keep the sacred fire, because there will be a time when the world has lost its way. They don't know how to live in a good way anymore on the earth. And you will keep the fire, so they can learn from you. And it can spread again. That's a prophecy, you know? So I think we're at these times right now. I really do. That's especially important for me because I got into sweat lodges like 15 years ago. And I think without those sweat lodges and without those medicine men who brought the sweat lodge here and who helped us do it the right way, I wouldn't have found this pagan path. Wouldn't have found it at all. How I found it is probably another video. But so that prophecy is true, at least for me. Now the second story, and I'll move a bit back here anymore because it's just too thickly grown. I'll just move back to the main path again. Second story is very lesser known. And it has to do with a famous native. You probably heard the name Crazy Horse and how he defeated General Custer. How the natives brought down the American Empire. It's the only defeat on home soil that the American army ever registered. That's a big deal. But Crazy Horse wasn't just a killer. He also had strong vision. Now, when I say vision, Crazy Horse has a vision. Yeah, he had many visions, but you need to understand what a vision is to Lakota people. It isn't like, you know, you take some mushrooms and then you go tripping and you go like, oh shit, I had a vision. No. In the old days, when you had a vision, it had to come out of your own bodily fluids, they say. You know, you have to go to Inipi and you have to cry. Or you go Hamblesha up the mountain and you cry. And maybe you go to Sundance and you bleed and you sweat, you know? It has to come out of your own bodily fluids. And so he probably went up a mountain for 4 days with no food and no water, just to stay in the sacred circle with his pipe and pray. So these visions, they're not like something casual as, oh, I just had this insight. No, it took a year of preparation for him to go up that mountain and to actually do that. Like I said, he had many visions. One of the reasons why he attacked General Custer was because that he saw in his vision that the soldiers will fall. So he thought, we're gonna win. And he was right, he did win. But he didn't know that he was waking up the beast that is the American military, and they would pay for it dearly. But on his last vision quest, before he was murdered, his last vision, and this man fought and killed to keep his culture alive. You have to understand. On his last vision, he had this wonderful vision. Creator said to him, sacred teachings are returning. Sacred songs are returning. Sacred traditions are returning. All upon the earth. So basically, in the final phase of his years, in this final phase of his life, this man who fought so hard to keep his culture alive, Great Spirit taught him it's gonna be okay. You fought hard and it's gonna return all over the world. Now I used to think that he was talking about just Lakota stuff, you know? That he was saying like everybody will do sweat lodges and become Lakota Indians. But, you know, that was before I found you, the people watching this video. You guys is what Crazy Horse saw in his vision. Great Spirit told him this because of you and I. So we have this responsibility to restore balance. First and foremost to ourselves. And maybe a bit to the world, to Midgard. Let me tell you, the cuss word, the bad word the Lakota people have for white people is wachichu. And it's not so much saying, oh, that white guy. It's saying, the meaning of the word is the man who takes the best piece of meat and keeps it to himself. Now, in like Native American culture, that's like, that's a big no-no. You do everything for the tribe. That's how you live. So they're like telling you that, or they only care about themselves and not even their own family. So maybe this is the time. That first myth that I told you about White Buffalo Calf Woman, They told her she told the people that she will return when it's time, you know, to create unity all over the world, and that you would see white buffalo walking on the earth. Well, since 1994, almost every year there's been a white buffalo in America. So maybe that time is now. Maybe those people are us. Maybe it's us who can at least try to bring balance.